Good evening, residents of Everett, Washington. I'd like to call to order the Everett City Council meeting of July 17, 2024. The City Council meets all requirements of the State of Washington's Open Public Meetings Act. Committee members are welcome to join either in person, remote via Zoom, or by calling in. For those who wish to participate in the future via Zoom, you'll find the instructions to register for public comment on the City of Everett website under the City Council Department. Please note that we do not allow comments of any kind of campaigning, whether for or against ballot measures or candidates running for office. We also do not accept comments focused on personal matters that are unrelated to city business. We ask that the audience refrain from clapping, cheering, or booing, and no signage of any kind are allowed to be in the chambers. We also ask that everyone take a seat and not gather in the entryway area. Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Mayor Franklin.
Here.
Councilmember Ryan.
Here.
Councilmember Bader.
Here.
Councilmember Toohey.
Here.
Councilmember Vogely.
Here.
Councilmember Fossey.
Excused?
Councilmember Zarlingo.
Here.
President Schwab.
Here. At this time, I'd like to ask Councilmember Bader to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask Councilmember Toohey to lead us in the land acknowledgement.
Thank you. The City Council wishes to acknowledge the original inhabitants of this place, the Stohuchi people and their successors, the Tulalip tribes. Since time immemorial, they have hunted, fished, gathered on, and taken care of these lands and waters. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and water. We will strive to be honest about our past mistakes and bring about a future that includes their people, stories, and voices to form a more just and equitable society.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes for July 10th, 2024?
Councilmember Ryan so moves.
Seconded.
Motion and second's been made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Toohey.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Well, good evening, Mayor.
Good evening, President Schwab. Since we have such a packed house for one single person, I think I'll start with our officer swearing. It's my honor to bring forward Chief DeRoos to swear in our newest officer, Brett Gailey.
I'd like to introduce you to Brett Gailey. Brett was born in Boise, Idaho, but moved to Washington State when he was a child, living in Marysville and Lake Stevens. After graduating from Lake Stevens High School, Brett enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, where he served 4 years, including time as an expeditionary airfield systems technician. Brett left the Marine Corps at the rank of corporal with an honorable discharge. Brett believes police work is an opportunity to extend his commitment to service, one that would allow him to make a greater impact and assist more people in need by focusing within our local community. Brett said he chose EPD because of our commitment to leadership, training, career development, community policing, and our values. Brett graduated from the Basic Law Enforcement Academy on July 11th and looks forward to beginning his field training, where he knows each day will bring new challenges and learning opportunities. He is eager to start interacting with our community members and forming relationships with them. Brett and his wife Savannah have been married for 5 years. They enjoy skiing, playing pickleball and cornhole, and spending time with family and friends. Brett is looking forward to his career with Everett PD and continuing the Gailey family's service to the city of Everett. I present Brett Gailey for swearing in.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to accept Brett Gailey as the newest member of the Everett Police Department?
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion and second been made. Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Toohey.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes.
All right, hello. So, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Brett Gailey,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I am either a citizen of the United States
that I am either a citizen of the United States
or a lawful permanent resident,
or a lawful permanent resident,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Everett,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Everett,
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
perform the duties of police officer
perform the duties as a police officer
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Let's see if I can do this without moving. Maybe. I think I just closed it. Okay, is this a trick one?
Just stab him.
Congratulations. So honored you chose Everett.
Appreciate it.
I know the council wants to congratulate you.
Yes, ma'am.
I gotta congratulate your dad.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great.
Very excited to have the Gailey family continuing to serve in our city. So congratulations, Officer Gailey. Welcome to the team. I've got a few more announcements to make for this evening. We have a lot of fun weekend events happening. It's been all summer long. Yes, you guys can leave. You don't have to stay for the boring council meeting. Congratulations. So this weekend kicks off Geek Fest, which is our first first Geek Fest events. It's a film festival, comedians, music, game expo, everything geek and more is what I've been told. So should be super exciting and bring lots of visitors to downtown. Also on Friday night, we've got Everett Music Initiative and Cruising to Colby hosting the Rock the Boat, bringing Mudhoney and everyone's favorite cover band, Cloud Cover, to Boxcar Park. And then on Saturday, it's Clay Walker and Deanna Carter, so that will be really fun at Boxcar Park. We've got music going on. And then also on Saturday, it's supposed to be about in the 70s, but residents and kids especially can enjoy the Ultimate Sprinkler at Wiggums Hollow Park for some relief from the heat, and that's going to be from 3 to 3:30 on Saturday. And obviously, there's more information on our events on our webpage at visit everett.gov. And then just an update on the property tax ballot initiative that is before our voters this primary. Everett residents can wash their mailboxes over the next few days. The August 6th primary ballots and voters pamphlets are arriving. The ballot for Everett Prop 1 is on it. There's just two more opportunities to learn about it, one on July 27th at 11:30 at Evergreen Branch Library, and one July 30th at 5:30 at Everett Station. But you can also get information at everettwa.gov/prop1. And I think that's all I have this evening. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, well, it's time for public comment, which includes written comment acknowledgement. Under our rules, written comments shall be considered in the same manner as oral comments. The commenter must provide their name and city of residence. Written comments require this to be made part of the official record. Angie, do we have anyone here to speak?
Good evening, President Schwab. We don't have anyone here, but we do have one individual online, and there are no written comments for the record.
Okay.
So I'll ask Jeremy to please unmute, and I'm just going to share my timer. And please state your full name, city of residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening, my name is Jeremy Olson, 98203, Everett, Washington.
Can you hold for just a second?
I'm here to inquire about the
Sorry, Jeremy, I'm having difficulty hearing you. It's pretty low, so let me just see if our text can make the sound a little louder. Okay, can you say something just to see? Oh, now I don't hear you at all. I don't know.
He's doing something.
Oh, they're doing something, okay. Sorry, Jeremy, just one moment. Okay, can you say something? Jeremy? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I can hear you, except your video is paused.
Okay, how about that?
There we go. Okay, we got it. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Jeremy Olson, 98203 Everett, Washington, District 3. I'm here to inquire about the 2025 city budget. I'd like to know what percentage of the proposed property tax increase, if approved, will be used to reopen the Forest Park Swim Center and restore hours of the library. I understand we're not allowed to voice support or opposition to a current ballot measure, including Proposition 1, the levy lid lift. I would like to understand why my First Amendment right is being restricted when council members have offered commentary on the proposition as seen in the last city council meeting. I'm also curious why the city has uniformed police officers attending the neighborhood meetings around the city when the ballot measure is being discussed. Do you need protection or is it for intimidation? Are we the taxpayers paying for this activity? Watching this process, I don't think the city's playing by the rules, and I would like the city attorney to issue a response outlining which of these activities is legal. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, and that concludes our public comments.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, so moving on to council comments and liaison reports. Councilmember Ryan.
Great. Good evening, everybody. Earlier this week, I attended the Lowell Neighborhood Association meeting, and Chief DeMarco stopped by to share an update on the fire department, and he had shared some information about how the city hasn't been immune to inflation costs over the last, infinity years since money was invented. The example that he provided was that 6 years ago, a fire truck cost $600,000, but a new fire truck now costs $1.2 million. So just in 6 years, the cost has doubled. So it was just a good way to, a reminder of how the city's not immune to inflation. And he also shared that last year they've had a record number of calls, that they responded to almost 30,000 calls in the community just last year. So Mayor Franklin also joined for the event and shared a really great comprehensive review of all the great things going on in the city, and that was very well received. So thank you so much for joining. Lowell will be hosting their neighborhood night out from 5 to 7 p.m. on August 6th at Lowell Park. They will have ice cream and folks tabling and other refreshments. And as a note, I read this week that the Pinehurst Beverly Park neighborhood has decided to cancel their neighborhood night out event. So please check the city's neighborhood night out event page as we get closer to that date for a full listing of all the neighborhood events and community events going on across the city. Over the weekend, I also attended the Salty Sea Days celebration, which was fantastic. And I will always, always ask if I would love to see a day where we have soapbox derbies down Hewitt. So I'm just going to float that out there. It won't happen unless I wish for it. So my kids went down the amazing slide at least 87 times, and it was great. I did have a question from a constituent that I ran into at the event, and I haven't had a chance to go back to review some notes, but they had received their food from one of the food trucks in a non-styrofoam container, and they were wondering why there weren't receptacles available for composting. And I had, everybody's heard me bang the drum about styrofoam and the styrofoam ban and how the city's preparing for events and how we can be more eco-friendly. So I'd love just an update at some point about if future events will have receptacles available for composting, or if there's a way that we can look into including that. Other events also this Saturday, the Port Gardner Neighborhood Association is having their community yard sale event. They'll be posting their neighborhood map soon for all the folks that are hosting a yard sale in that neighborhood. And the Everett Station District Alliance is hosting their cleanup event on Saturday as well, starting at 9 o'clock at the train station. Thanks.
Yeah, nice work, thank you. Councilmember Bader.
Very quickly, thanks, Council President. Sorry, I've been battling a bad cold, so trying to avoid sharing it with you all. Just one report, went to the library board meeting last night, had a very interesting report about the Community Foundation and all the funds that it maintains for the library that I think generate on the order of, by my calculation, about $100,000 a year to support library operations. So some very generous citizens and far-sighted individuals that stepped up to help us with the library over the last decade or so, 2 decades or so, creating these funds. So it was just a very interesting thing about how generous donations have helped our library do some additional things that they wouldn't otherwise do. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Tui.
Yeah, I just wanted to give an update to the Snow 911 Board of Directors that I serve on, monthly meetings, but most of our meetings are very technical and operational, so I don't report on those monthly, but once a year, I think it's good to give you some highlights of what's happening there. First of all, just so you know, we had in 2023 almost 160,000 911 calls just for this in the city of Everett. So it's a very important service for us, and we represent over 35% of the total calls for Snohomish County. So that's a lot. Anyway, just to let you know that one of the biggest significant multi-year program is the radio replacement project, which, if you recall, the tax that was levied or that was passed by the voters in 2018 to replace all the radios from first responders throughout the whole county. So it's an effort that all of them will that are part of. So that's an ongoing issue. Project 4,300 radio units have been placed out into the county, and they're working on that as far as also keeping those fresh and upgoing. The second thing is they have a new facility that they're working on. They purchased the old Frontier Bank headquarters on Everett Mall Way, and so they're in the process of renovating that for a permanent home. They are currently in our South Precinct at our police station there. So that will be a big vacating that sometime in 2025, probably the second quarter or Q2 probably happen when they move out. So that will free up quite a bit of space in our precinct there. A program that started a year ago is called the Nurse Navigation Program, and it was funded from a grant. And the Nurse Navigation Program is designed to transfer non-emergent medical 911 calls to a call center where licensed nurses work with callers to resolve their problem or connect them to a more appropriate medical services as opposed to an ambulance ride to an emergency department. The fourth thing is the Pulse Point, and that continues to operate in Snohomish County. That alerts registered users to instances of sudden cardiac arrest that may be in their vicinity. The City of Everett portion of share is funded by our EMS levy. And the last thing they're working on is the EMS Joint Task Force. It's comprised of representatives of Snow 911, Snohomish County Fire Chiefs, and Snohomish County EMS boards, and is nearing completion of its work and will be presenting final recommendations for bringing Snohomish County EMS into compliance with statutory regulations in September. And pleased to say that our Chief DeMarco chairs the Joint Task Force meeting, and so he will update council when they are complete with their recommendations. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Vogely.
Thank you and good evening, and welcome to our newest law enforcement officer. I was able to speak as the chair with Chris Collier from AHA, and the main thing that we spoke about this time was home sales by sales price from the year 2000 to 2024, and significantly half of the homes sold in Everett in this year, 2023, are over $500,000. Although it paints literally a beautiful picture on the graph, it's just another stark reminder that things are expensive and it's hard to find housing. So I will talk about that all the time. And the mayor mentioned Mudhoney, and they're one of my favorite bands in the entire world. And I have to tell you a favorite memory. It's very short, but while I was at Infest way back in the 90s, a person was knocked down in the mosh pit, and Mark Arm would not play any more until that person was helped. And so if you know Mudhoney, they're pretty raucous. And so even raucous folks in the rock atmosphere and all those people care about each other. And that's my point. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Councilmember Zarlingo.
Well, a couple of things earlier this evening in these chambers. Councilmember Vogely chaired our Council Parks and Quality of Life Committee meeting. Didn't want that to go recognized with Councilmember Ryan. And the three of us heard primarily about the Parks Department's capital improvement plans and some recent history. And I will, if you're interested in that, I would definitely suggest you watch the meeting and the summary. It'll give you, I think the main takeaway for me was the magnitude of what they're doing to try to serve all the residents in our city. And it's an even more important thing as we have a densifying city where we are not getting big backyards, and so these collective spaces are really important, and they've done a lot to fund that or to improve those. So that also validated Councilmember Ryan's and my observations about how busy some of these parks are getting, how well used they are, and our pleasure at seeing those investments that the city makes used so well. The only other thing I wanted to mention was a recent meeting of the Snohomish County Law and Justice Council. I serve on that council, and I'll probably go into that a little more in a future meeting, but just to say this is a way to bring together the elements of law and justice in our county that I think our community members would hope are brought together. So that includes law enforcement, our Chief DeRoos and Sheriff Johnson. It also includes members of the courts and their staff, members of the public who are on that committee as well, and of course elected leaders. We should be talking to each other. This is an effort that seems to be gathering some steam. I think that hasn't been meeting real regularly lately, but we're developing bylaws now. And again, the idea is to get groups working together to address problems, to enhance the overall status of justice in the county. And as one specific example for the recent activity of the Law and Justice Council is looking at court backlogs. In a lot of ways, justice delayed is justice denied, and this is a way to try to focus on that, understand how we can best use our resources to reduce that backlog and to understand the structure of it, and in particular to reduce the parts which are most critical. So an ongoing effort that way, but that's what I did want to report tonight.
Thank you very much. Do we have administrative update?
I do. I had just two, but then I thought in response to a question that Councilmember Vogely didn't ask, I wasn't at that NFest when Mudhoney appeared. It was a couple years later. I had to Google it, but I have some good memories from those events too. I will save them for another day. First, you heard last week about, last week about concerns with bamboo near Forgotten Creek. And I just wanted to update and let you know that code enforcement staff were able to meet with that property owner adjacent to Forgotten Creek, and we're able to help clarify the property lines which do extend past their fence and further into the ravine. So I think hopefully some better shared understanding there. I was also asked to provide a brief update related to the two initiatives that were submitted by private groups to the city recently. The city charter governs how we review and handle citizen petitions like them. The county certifies the signatures, and then the number that it's required for the limits on signatures is tagged to the last city general election. So in this case, that's the November 2023 election. So if either of those two petitions that were submitted are certified by the county to have between 938 and 2,875 qualified signatures, then one or both of them will appear on the November ballot without any council action. The other possible scenario, although based on the number of pages of signatures that were submitted, it's maybe a little less likely, is if either petition is certified by the county to have more than that, so more than 2,876 qualified signatures or more, then the council would have 10 days to either pass the ordinance as, once certified, 10 days to either pass the ordinance as written or submit it to the November ballot as written. We have to wait until the county certifies the signature counts to know which scenario applies. It was in response, there was I think an article that, or some residents might have seen or thought that this might appear on your agenda in the future, but it's really most likely that they will either be certified by the county and then just appear up on the ballot without council action. So, all right, that's it. Thanks.
Okay. City Attorney David Hall.
I'm older than both of you. I saw Mudhoney in the mid-'80s. They opened for, at that time, a little-known band called Soundgarden. I don't have any report beyond that, but we are requesting a 30-minute executive session to give an overview of outstanding legal matters with no council action to follow.
Okay, at that point, then we'll be in recess then. Oh, I do have items on the road. Okay, just checking. All right, so we have 3 consent items before you. Do I hear a motion to pass the 3 consent items?
So moved to pass the consent items.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to second. Items 1, 2, and 3. Clerk, please take, is there any comments? Okay, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Councilmember Bader?
Yes.
Councilmember Tui?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely?
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo?
Yes.
President Schwab?
Yes. Okay, we have one more before recess. Item number 4, second reading. It's already been read into the record. Council Bill 2406-13. Are there any questions or comments on item number 4? Okay, now we will recess for 30 minutes. City Council executive session is now complete. No further action is needed. There is no further business. Meeting's adjourned.